Well, hi kids, and welcome to Disney Animation Reviews. I'm Josiah Milky, and today we're definitely in the deep run of things, as today we are talking about the one animated Disney feature film that almost killed the Disney Animation division during the 80s. That's right, we're talking about Disney's 25th animated feature film classic, The Black Cauldron. First off, a bit of history as to what Disney was doing before then. Black Cauldron came out 4 years after The Fox and the Hound. During that time, in 1982, they started experimenting in computer animation with the Disney feature film Tron, and they opened Epcot, the second theme park at Walt Disney World after the Magic Kingdom. In 1983, after 30 years of not being on screen, Mickey and Friends returned to theaters with the new short film Mickey's Christmas Carol, just in time for Christmas 1983, alongside a re-release of The Rescuers. Mickey's Christmas Carol is actually one of my personal favorite shorts. It's celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. Some reviewers like Leonard Maltin liked it, others like Siskel and Ebert didn't. I guess Mickey's Christmas Carol, whether you like it or hate it, depends on your opinion of it. Me, I think it's a classic. In the early 1970s, Disney came up with the idea to adapt Lloyd Alexander's book series, The Chronicles of Prydain. But the film itself took about 12 years to make. 12 years. I mean, that's a lot of time to work on a movie. Part of the reason it took so long was because Black Cauldron had a lot of problems with it being too dark for kids, and they kept having to take stuff out to make it less scary for kids. Black Cauldron was finally released in the summer of 1985 as Disney's first ever PG-rated film, thanks to its dark moments. Even with all the stuff they took out, Black Cauldron was still pretty scary, and was a box office flop upon release, and got mixed reviews. Only adding to this insult was the fact that Black Cauldron only came in as the second highest grossing animated film of the year, at least by American grosses, behind Nelvana's Care Bears movie. I haven't seen it, I've only heard of it. I haven't actually seen The Black Cauldron, but I've read reviews about it and I've read the story to get a good idea of it. I'm probably never gonna see it because it's a little too scary for my taste. I mean, I like scary stuff in movies, but hey, even I have my standards. So let's talk about The Black Cauldron. What a problem movie it is. So the star of the movie is Taran, who lives on a farm with his foster father Dalben and their magical pig Henwen. At the beginning of the story, Taran wants to be a hero for the sake of being a hero. He's basically a whinier, complaining version of Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. This movie apparently draws a lot of comparisons between The Black Cauldron and Star Wars. Trust me, Star Wars is the much better movie. But anyway, for the time being, Taran takes care of Henwen, who one day discovers she's not an ordinary pig, she's got magical powers so that she can see stuff, and see visions and whatnot. Dalben warns Taran that the evil Horned King, who was given a wonderfully evil vocal performance by the late John Hurt, is after the Black Cauldron. If he finds it, he could revive an army of undead warriors and could take over the kingdom, with nothing to stop him. Dalben takes Taran to hide Henwen in the forest, but of course, being the lazy bum he is, Taran immediately loses her, and has to go to the Horned King's kingdom to get her back. This is where he meets Princess Eilonwy, and discovers a magic sword that becomes his greatest weapon. Eilonwy is supposed to be a princess, but we're not told what kingdom she comes from, or even if she wants to be heir to the throne. So, they probably didn't need to call her a princess, they could have just made her a regular old girl. She's not completely regular, she's got this magic bubble that helps her see stuff, but I read online that that doesn't come into play too much, so don't need to worry about that. They also meet the old minstrel Fluter Flam, and with Taran's sword, help take out the bad guys, and then set off to find Henwen, eventually teaming up with another friend of Taran's, a mischievous dog named Gurgi. Gurgi sounds a bit like Donald Duck from the video clips I've heard of him, even though Gurgi and Donald aren't voiced by the same person. But Gurgi helps them find Hanwen, which then leads them to the fairy folk, a bunch of little fairy characters, one of whom is a cameo by Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. And they lead them to the three witches that guard the Black Cauldron, where Tyron has to give up his sword in exchange for the cauldron. The only way for it to be stopped is if someone sacrifices themselves by jumping into it. From there, we see whether the Horned King finds the cauldron and can take over the kingdom, or if Tyron and his friends are able to stop the Horned King and the cauldron first. From what I've read online, like I said, the Black Cauldron draws a lot of similarities with Star Wars, except for the fact that this is a fairy tale, not a space epic, and the characters are far worse than Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, you name it. There are probably some good parts like Gurgi and Hanwen, and I admit that the fairy folk are pretty good. And from what I've heard in trailers, I think John Hurt does a really good job with the Horned King, but we hardly hear anything about the Horned King and whether or not he's a good ruler. And like I said, Eilonwy didn't have to be a princess, she could have just been a regular girl and everything would be fine. There's no songs, first Disney animated feature film to not be a musical. The animation is okay, I guess, from what I've seen in the trailers, but it's not great. This was back when John Musker and Ron Clements were still getting into the swing of things at Disney. They had started on Fox and the Hound and possibly Rescuers, but this was right before they actually started directing films at Disney. So, honestly, from what I've read and seen online and in books, I can't recommend the Black Cauldron. Maybe, unless you're a die-hard Disney fan and you want to see all the animated Disney feature films in full, maybe give it a shot. Otherwise, it's too scary for the kids. Like, story and characters aren't that good. No songs will drag the film down even more. And all in all, it's just not a good animated Disney feature film. So it's no wonder they nicknamed this film the film that almost killed Disney. So if there's any animated Disney features you can definitely skip over unless you're a die-hard Disney fan, it's the Black Cauldron. The film wasn't released on home video until well over a decade after its release, because it bombed at the box office when it came out. Its first home video release was 1998 on VHS, and then they released it on DVD for the first time in 2000 as part of the Walt Disney Gold Classic Collection. The film's latest home video release is its 25th Anniversary Edition DVD release from fall of 2010, featuring bonus features including a new deleted scene, which would have been an alternate version on how they met the fairies, and old bonus features including games, an art gallery with visual development, artwork, and photos of the cast and stuff, and the classic animated 1952 Halloween Disney short Trick or Treat starring Donald Duck and his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. At least the short seems to be more tamer in scariness than the movie is. So that's my thoughts on the Black Cauldron. If you like scary movies and something different from Disney, give it a shot. Also give it a shot if you're a die-hard Disney fan. It's also worth noting that this is the first animated Disney feature film in over 20 years since Sleeping Beauty to be photographed in Technorama 70, so that's kind of cool. But unless you're a die-hard Disney fan or want to see something different from Disney, this is one you can do without. Well, we're out of time for today. Remember, when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Bye!